Hey guys, welcome back to Friend Films. Thank you so much for joining me. The first camera system that I ever really used was Canon, just like a lot of you out there. I used a lot of Canon T2Is, 5Ds, 7Ds, 60Ds, 70Ds, all of that stuff. And then Sony started coming out with some really interesting mirrorless stuff. They started coming out with stuff like this. This is my old Sony Alpha 5000, and it's dead. It died in the line of duty, which cameras do. That got me really excited about the mirrorless world. And I kind of stumbled across this new camera series, which is the Nikon DL series. And if you haven't heard of these cameras, they're kind of like this weird hybrid holy grail of a camera. They have like everything that you want in terms of portability and a lot of the things that you want in terms of an actual professional camera. Some of the things that are included in terms of the features of this camera were like 171 point autofocus system. That's both phase and contrast detection. So incredibly fast in continuous and single point autofocus. 4K video up to 30 frames per second. And you can even kind of adjust so you can shoot up to 1200 frames per second. Not only that, but in photo mode, if you actually lock the autofocusing system, you can shoot 60 frames per second. That's not 60p video, that's 60 photos a second. I've never heard of that in a camera. I've never heard of that in any camera. I was really excited about this. It sounded really cool. They announced them around February of 2016. It's now February 13th of 2017, and they just announced that they're killing it. Those cameras will never beat. A couple of units went out for test. Mostly they were just on display at various trade shows, but you never actually got any sample images out of them. And this is because the series was unfortunately fraught with errors. They had a lot of issues with the internal processing of the camera. Nikon kept delaying and delaying and delaying. And then today, February 13th, 2017, they killed the project. Now this was like a dream camera, and I'll go through the technical details right now. There were 3 cameras in the entire lineup. They had the DL 18-50, the DL 24-85, and the DL 24-500. And those numbers correspond to the focal lengths of the fixed lens on the camera. They all had a 1-inch sensor, and they were serious competitors to Sony in this respect. So you have all of these amazing ingredients coming together in one camera. You had manual zoom and manual focus, and this is on every single camera in the lineup, all 3 of them. The DL 18-50 and the DL 24-85 had a flip-up screen so that you could see yourself, and the DL 24-500 had a fully articulating screen, which means you could flip it around and see yourself in every direction, and it was incredibly flexible, and they actually had Sony beat in terms of ergonomics and usability. Now mind you, Nikon uses Sony sensors in their cameras, so you effectively had the same sensor in those cameras that you do in these Nikons, but in a better form factor. Not only that, but the prices were insane. The RX100 Mark V hovered around $1,000, but here's the thing about the Nikon series cameras. They started at $650. The Nikon DL 24-85 was a $650 camera. The 18-50 was an $850 camera. And the 24-500 was a $1,000 camera. That's 24mm to 500mm. That's considered a super zoom, which again goes up against the RX10 Mark III, was $1,000. That's half the price of what Sony was making with the same sensor and broadly the same video and photo capabilities. These cameras were insanely cool, and I was genuinely excited about them, but they canned it. The whole project is over. So this is like the best camera that we've never had. And so I'm kind of making this video to ask Nikon to fix it. Now Nikon, I know that you're going through a lot of logistical changes inside of the company, but please, please make these cameras happen. So anyway, thank you so much for joining me on my channel. I'll leave some links to the camera information below so you can kind of check out more specific details about what these cameras were supposed to be, and you'll see why I was so excited about them. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you liked the video. If you did, give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Let me know what you thought about the cameras in the comments below. Good talk.